Yeah. Spotlight fades, but the fire still stays. We fought it out through the long, hard days. From spring ball till the final down. Blood, sweat, and tears on hallowed ground. From the trenches to the long end zone. Joe Wilson Field, that's what greatness shows. Cleats on the turf, hearts in the fight. We gave it all on the Friday night lights. Hear that Viking horn calling loud. We hit the field to make our hometown proud. Every touchdown, all the records we broke. Legends rose while pretenders choke. Referee whistle and the place stops cold. Band's too loud, that's what we told. Coaches calls and the fans loud roar. Wintersville, we're all living for. Replays burn on the screen so bright. Heroes rise in the heat of the night. Bridgman jamming and the bass gets low. Welcome to the palace, welcome to the show. Hear that Viking horn, it's calling loud. We hit the field to make our hometown proud. Every title, every ring we chase. Title town, you gotta love this place. Roll the tape, let the big plays fly. Call the shots that lit the sky. Win or lose, we bet our soul. That's the heartbeat, that's the goal. Now the final whistles ringing strong. We raise our voices, sing it loud and long. Touchdowns made and the Giants fell. This is the story we'll always tell. Hear that Viking horn calling loud. We break it down to make our hometown proud. Every title, every ring we chase. Title town, you gotta love this place. Crimson and white, the standard we fly. Thursday night show got the whole town high. LG on the mic, set the tone just right. Coaches moves, how we win the fight. Professor's knowledge, let's keep it gritty. Make the call, Vikings by today. Hear that Viking horn calling loud. We break it down to make our hometown proud. Every title, every ring we chase. Title town, you gotta love this place. Victory song in the afterglow. It's the Viking Nation. Bam, bam. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, everybody. The excitement is in the air. Welcome back to the show, to the Viking Nation Live. It is your Thursday night getaway from everything that is troubling you in your life, so we can focus the next hour just on Lowndes Vikings football, with a few of our rowdy friends to join us along the way. You can tell the excitement is in the air. Talking about the excitement, man, the Corky Kell Classic, which is the traditional kickoff to the Georgia high school football season, had a big game last night, and man, did it shock the football world. North Gwinnett takes on Grayson, and everybody expects Grayson basically to blow everybody away this year. It's going to be Grayson and Buford and Grayson. Well, not so fast when it comes to the Bulldogs from North Gwinnett. They not only won that game last night, they dominated the Grayson Rams 37-22. The score was not even as close as it appears to be. You know, that those 22 points from Grayson was scored late in the game on subs and that kind of stuff. Complete domination. So, are the North Gwinnett Bulldogs the real deal and the challengers to Buford and Carrollton this year? Is it going to be our Lowndes Vikings? Is it going to be the Valdosta Wildcats that's going to challenge Buford and Carrollton this year? We're going to have to wait and see. But, man, you can tell the excitement is in the air. No doubt at all. So, we were supposed to have a Meet the Vikings event that was going to be held this afternoon, 4:30. But as you guys know by now, right, It's obviously after 4:30. But that was canceled due to lightning. Hopefully, they're gonna reschedule that before the season starts next Friday night. So we'll see. I'm not exactly sure how they're gonna schedule that and play that out, but that got canceled. But that's why you tune into the show because we break it down to keep you informed. So the next time we meet is next Thursday night. You know what that is? That is the eve from the official kickoff of the Lowndes Vikings football regular season. So with that said, speaking of kicking things off, let's bring in our super fan, Mr. Professor himself. Look at you flexing already with that hat.
You know I had to get right, man. You know I got to get right.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right. So you had a big week. Let's talk about Friday night. Let's talk about what we learned Friday night. How confident are you now in this Viking team after seeing them in the scrimmage last Friday?
Very confident. Very, very confident.
Now, are you speaking that with conviction, or are you speaking that because you have to because you're on the Viking Nation Live?
it's coming from the chest, man.
Oh, I hear you, man.
Right. It's not. It's coming from my heart. It's coming from what I saw on the field. That defense, man. That defense looked good. Um, no, no big plays given up.
Yeah,
The offense, they got the jitters out. You got to see Jordan Parker. Jordan Parker is an electric runner. He could deliver the ball. You got to see Trey Robinson. Listen, Mason Woods. I said it last week. He's in midseason form already. He looks really, really good. KT. He was out there. He caught a couple passes. Good long run, man. Look, I can't. I got nothing to complain about. As opposed to last couple of years, we were like kind of wondering, kind of scratching our heads, like, "Hello, are we gonna get any better?" But from that scrimmage last night, excuse me, last Friday night, man, all I can say is I'm very confident in these Vikings. And listen, um, we got two capable quarterbacks, right?
yeah,
Aside from Jace, right? So we have two capable quarterbacks that can come in and that can run this offense. And we didn't see too much, and I didn't expect to see too much as far as like the play calling. But we got a couple of bubble screens in there. We got. I think we completed a slant route, which is something we hadn't seen.
yeah.
So yeah,
I'm glad you brought up two capable quarterbacks. I remember when Jace went down last year, we had to go like 3 games and run the single wing.
yeah,
Yeah, well, I get the feeling that if that happened this year, we don't have to rely on just the single wing. We can run our regular offense with these two studs.
I agree. I agree, and that's what I wanted to see. Last year, I don't think we were prepared. And you go into those 3 games. We had the talent to actually overcome that, and that was impressive in its own right. But now we don't have to do that. And shout out to Neil as well. He came in to spell Mason Woods. So we got
Yeah.
a two-headed monster in the backfield. We have a very, very capable quarterback in Jace whenever he returns,
Yep.
and then you got Jordan Parker and Trey Robertson. That's when they get back there, they look like they know what they're doing. That's the thing. They didn't shy away from the being under the lights, the Friday night lights. They embraced it, and they went out there and they made a case to say, hey, you know what, Viking Nation, if if Jace is not able to come back, you're in good hands. So that's how I feel about them.
So, so we have the luxury of 3 quarterbacks now. Now, if Jace is healthy, it's obvious he's going to be the starter. But here, here's here is the freedom that having 3 capable QBs, and all 3 of them are great athletes to boot, right?
Hmm.
So let's say Jace is ready to go. You got a backup on the sideline. Do you roll the dice and let one of those other ones play an athlete position and get just to get him on the field?
Man, like to me, right? It would not surprise me to see, especially Jordan Parker line up at running back.
Mhm.
He's kind of built. When you look at him, you probably wouldn't say he's a quarterback, but he is. He's a very capable one, but he's built like a running back.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds you of. when we had Marvis in the sophomore
Yeah,
Jace.
yeah,
You
good
know,
comparison. Yeah,
so the fact that we have that, and even if Jace isn't ready to go, and you can have Trey and Jordan in the backfield, right? And then you compare that with, and you put Mason. You might want to line Mason up in the slot to create a couple of mismatches. So you have the chess pieces to really make life difficult for the opposing defense coordinators.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about let's break this scrimmage down. What did we learn? What impressed you the most?
The defense. The
Oh, okay,
defense, the defense impressed me, man. Allen came in, like I told y'all watch number 90,
right,
watch number 90. He came in, he did what he needed to do. You had uh oh man, my guys, Izzy and Treadwell. Man, like listen, I watch those guys because they are lightning rods.
yeah,
They are lightning rods, and man, they come out hair on fire, and they leave it all on the field, man. And then you had Nick Booker out there locking it down,
right,
locked his side down, came up with a couple of picks, and like overall, man, that defense looks so much improved.
yep,
And I know people are gonna say, I mean, it was veterans, but no, they did what they were supposed to do. No big plays, no mental lapses. Everybody was where they were supposed to be. And I'm pretty sure, Coach Carter, they got the film and said, hey, this wasn't right, this wasn't right. But whatever mistakes they made up for it, they made up for it with speed. And me and you talked about it. The
yeah,
team speed on this defense is unreal.
yeah.
And that's going to be one of their biggest strengths. So,
You know, I would be shocked. Well, I shouldn't say shocked. I would be pleasantly surprised if any opponent came into Martin Stadium in the first 6 games and ran wide on us.
yeah, yeah.
I would be surprised, pleasantly surprised, because they're not going to get much.
No,
And
not
that team speed from Lowndes, whether you're talking about the defense, even the defensive line, very, very fast.
very
Even though
fast.
they're
Yeah.
big guys, you got a linebacker core that is just lightning fast this year.
Yeah,
Lightning
yeah,
fast.
yeah. Marcus Vaughn back there, he's holding it down, and we still saw him, put a hand in the dirt, on third and long packages, and you still got, but you got that. I'm telling you, man, like that team speed on this defense is
Yeah,
unreal, unreal, and the fact that like you mentioned, you'd be surprised if anybody tried to run outside. They're gonna try because you want to keep the defense honest, but I'm pretty sure they're not scheming, to get there. And the fact of the matter is, because of that team speed, that's kind of where the if you can get around, if you can get around the edges, and they fail to set the edge, that's where your big plays are 9 times out of 10 are happening. So the fact that team speed is there,
yeah,
and they're playing like they know, they're playing fast and free, and I think that's a combination of a couple of things. They've grown through mainly one thing, they've grown through the system, right? They were freshmen, now they're seniors, and they've been playing in the same system,
yeah.
and so they know what they're doing.
Let me tell you what Adam Carter thinks about his team. So he had a pretty good lengthy interview with Phil Jones with ITG Next, and they're going to be doing a weekly coaches show. I think
Mhm.
it's going to come out like every Monday, something like that, as the season progresses. And I pulled a couple of quotes. Listen to the podcast and pulled a couple of quotes from him. This is what he said, and this is a quote. We think the offense is going to have to lead us early on until we can get some of these guys defensively caught up to speed. But your assessment is, man, getting caught up to speed. You think they're already there?
Yeah, I do, and but I'm not sitting there studying the all 22,
Yeah,
mainly because I don't have access to it. If I did, I would.
yeah.
But
That was just your initial take
yeah,
on
yeah,
what you saw.
yeah, just what I saw, and that's why I said, like, if they did make any mistakes, the team speed was able to cover it up, right? Like I said, I'm pretty sure when they sit down and break the tape down, knowing the kind of type of coach that Coach Carter is,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, like even Friday night they had a couple of three and outs, and when back and they got the big screen and
Yep.
they're still steady. And I hear the coaches saying, "Hey, you know, you got to be here. You've got to be there." So like I said, was it perfect? No, not wasn't a perfect game. But at the same time, I always tell people perfection is tantamount to despair,
That's right.
right? Nobody wants to be perfect. You just want to be better. And like I said, I want our team defense looks better this year at this point in the season than they did last year.
Yeah. So, the first probably 5-10 minutes of the show, we've been talking of nothing but defense, praising this defense. Going into that scrimmage, I mean, we're probably praising the offense. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, this offense is going to be really, 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 really dynamic this year. Here's a question. What from Robert Lindsay? Was it the same QB that threw the two deep touchdowns, or did each one of them? I think each one of them threw one.
yeah, yeah. Both of them.
Jordan Parker threw the first one to Travis Phelps in the first half, and I believe Trey threw one to KT in the second half. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think
Hmm.
that's right.
Yep, yep. TB had it right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
TB had it right. And like I said, and both of them, like those quarterbacks, they bring something different. Don't I, I don't want you guys to say I'm to think that I don't think that Trey Robinson is not a capable runner. That's not what I'm saying. He can. He made some moves. He I think he scored two rushing touchdowns,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's shifty. He's dynamic. But Jordan Parker is a little bit more explosive, right? In that regard. Now, when it comes to the passing game, I think that Trey has a little bit more touch, you know. But that's me nitpicking,
Yeah,
right? Trying to find something
yeah.
to be critical about.
Right.
Overall, I'm pleased. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to
Mm-mm.
criticize or critique right now. I mean, we're splitting hairs if we start. Like both of them had really good performances. I would say Jordan's a little bit shorter than Trey,
Mhm.
so you might have some passes batted down during the regular season, especially when we get into region play when players tend to be bigger, taller, that kind of stuff. But there's not much difference between the two of them as far as capabilities goes. I'm very
Yeah.
confident in both quarterbacks going if they have to go.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm right there with you. Right there with you, man. And it's I'm just excited. I'm excited. And you know what? Hey, let me stop for a minute. Let me just say this. Go dogs. I know I didn't expect North Gwinnett to beat Grayson, but still go dogs. And that's
That was
it.
a good win.
Yeah, that was a good win. So
Yeah. So let's talk about the some of the wide receivers coming into this game. There was a big question mark because of the absence of Bubba Brown, right?
Mhm.
But as we expected, Kayvon Thomas stepped up in a big, big way.
In a big
You
way.
know, his stature, his presence on the field, he just looks the part. He passes the eye test. And man, when he caught that pass in the second half and turned on the Jets, that joker is going to be something to deal with.
Oh yeah, his speed is deceptive.
Yeah.
You know, like not saying that he looks slow at all, but that gear, he has that extra gear that
Yeah.
like you got. I know you if you ever drove a manual, 5 speed. You got some cars. Most come with 5 speeds,
That's
but
right.
you got those special ones that have that 6 gear. And he when he turned it on, he turned it on. Same thing when he took that reverse. He took that sweep reverse, whatever you want to call it, and you see him be very patient, and then bam, gone.
Yeah.
Right? And he planted that foot in the dirt and was upfield in an instant.
You think they're gonna create some creative plays just for him, whether it's run, reverses, passes, short, long? You think they're gonna get creative to get the ball in his hands?
I think you have to. I think you like last year. He caught a couple of big. He made a couple big plays, but he also made a big plays in the run game as well last year. So seeing that sweep reverse, whatever you want to call it, that wasn't a surprise because we saw it last year. He was the one who did it. They would do it a lot of times, short yardage situations.
Yeah.
Uh, it just looks different now because he's number one and not number 15, right? So it feels new, but that's something he's always been capable of. So now what I would say he probably needs to just try to get the nuances of playing the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
And that comes with time, and that comes with gelling. Right now, he's playing with two different quarterbacks
Right.
right now, and then when Jace comes back, it'll be a third one. So getting that feel back with Jace, seeing how they can the
Yeah.
chemistry, got to get that chemistry back. You'll be there. But then also you got Mr. Phelps when he comes in.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna call him Mr. Phelps for the rest of the season, right? Mr. Phelps comes in and he lines up, and we both, me and you both said, "Oh, he must be the speedster." And then boom, and when I tell you, he had at least 3 steps on the DB,
Yep.
right? 3 steps. So that's telling me that he has elite speed. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, Jody Hewitt's got an interesting comment. He says, I'm ready to see the playbook open next week, something that will test the O line with blocking schemes, with pulling guards and such. Also, need another receiver to step up with KT, give us a threat on both sides with Phelps slipping over the middle. He makes a good point. KT is going to he's going to draw double teams this
mhm,
year. Once he's seen on film and people recognize he is the go-to guy. He's going to get double teamed like Bubba was last year, right? So
yeah.
who's going to be that next big receiver or two to step up like Jody's talking about? Is it going to be Waylon Whitinger? Is it going to be Zaire Howell, Travis Phelps, JJ Rowe? Who's it going to be? So that's what I'm anxious to see.
Also, you got Douglas, who was one of the reserve quarterbacks from last
Taylor
year.
Douglas.
Taylor Douglas. Taylor Douglas. He looked good in the slot. In the time that he got in, and he's never been afraid, never been shy to make contact either. So I think Lowndes we have enough receivers to create those mismatches.
Yeah.
And we also got to see Weidinger split wide.
Yeah. I mean, he caught that bubble screen and
Yeah.
both and I looked at each other. It's like, where is Chase Garta when he's been screaming for that for 2 years?
I know, right? For the last 2 years, he's been screaming for that, and bam, and we got to see it in the first quarter. But Jody, I wouldn't expect to see much more. I really would not expect to see much more going into Jenkins, right?
Yeah.
Look, they're not gonna, as these young kids like to say, they're not gonna empty the clip week one, right?
No, no, no.
They,
You don't have to. You don't have
mm-mm.
to.
They might add a wrinkle or two. Um, Week one, then week two, add a wrinkle and keep building
Yep.
on that. And I think that, like, when it comes to football, it's all about repetition, all about the reps that you get. And the more you do something, right, the
Yep.
easier it becomes. It becomes muscle memory. And they're gonna add a little bit. They're gonna sprinkle just a little bit every week.
Yeah. All right. So I'm creating a new segment on the show. I'm gonna call it overreact or legit. Okay.
Okay.
And that here's the question. I'm gonna throw a statement out there or ask a question, and you tell me if I'm overreacting or if it's legit. Okay. And
Okay.
here it is. Lowndes was as uh-oh.
I'm
Get it
sorry.
out, man. Get it
Oh
out.
man. All right. Repeat that one more time for me.
Lowndes was as dominant as I had hoped they would be, and they're going to continue to be dominant throughout this season. Am I overreacting or is that legit?
That's legit.
Okay.
Legit.
I love it. I love it. So you're going to tell me why?
Oh, what we just talked about for the last 20 minutes.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean,
That's a
this,
short segment, man.
yeah, nah, but but in all honesty, we talked about it last week. We talked about it already. But I think you have a great foundation that's been laid the last two
Yeah.
years, right? And they're just building on this foundation, and we saw them be dominant throughout the year, right? Had a couple hiccups, but for the most part, we saw them be very dominant throughout the year. And even when we had a couple close games late in the year
Yeah.
against was it Richmond Hill? I think Richmond Hill kind of challenged us, but you still they were good. They were good enough,
Yeah.
right? And I think they're good enough is not what they want to be better,
Yeah.
right? I, I get on them about the compete thing, but I think this is a team. When you look at them, even though it was a scrimmage, they were all business.
Yeah. Man,
All business, so.
I noticed that too because I think we've been tired of it for a while, but I think that the team and the program has gotten to the point where they're fed up of hearing teams across the state saying Lowndes is not the old Lowndes, right?
Mhm.
But I'm here to tell you, Lowndes is making a resurgence,
Yeah,
and you're going to start to see it this year with this program and this team. Lowndes is on the way back to a premier program. I truly believe that with this team. So I think the comments legit as well.
yeah,
So go ahead.
and it's like couple. I think when I first started, started here with the Viking Nation,
Yeah,
um, and I said it the last couple of years is that you have to start somewhere, right? And I hate to rehash and go down and keep going talking about this, but
yeah.
we have some continuity where we didn't have it before,
Good point. Good point.
right? So we had 2 years of McPherson retires, 2 years of DeBose, 1 year of Grage, and now we're entering year 4 with Adam Carter, right?
Yeah,
And I even said it, give him grace, give him 3 years, right? And I think he exceeded our expectations if you were realistic, in year 2 and year 3, right? Now it's year 4, looking at what this program has done the last couple of years.
that's right.
We are now expecting them to second round, nah, third round, nah. We're
Yeah, the
expecting,
expectations. Last year, what happened to me mentally last year because it was the second year of a 10 win season, right?
Mhm.
So mentally, that was my year of baseline. That's my baseline year. So 10 wins is the firm baseline. Second round is a baseline. Uh, to be successful going forward, you got to achieve more than that.
yeah.
And that is the Viking way. That is the expectation that we've always had, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I can't say always, right? Because listen, I grew up in the '80s, man, and I've been a
Yeah.
Viking fan for a long time.
Yeah.
And I can remember those dark years, right, where Lowndes was really and truly the other school in
Yeah.
Valdosta. But now it's like these like we have generations that don't know what it's like
That's right.
to see a losing record, right? Or to not make the playoffs. We have generations who just expect Lowndes to beat Valdosta, to beat Colquitt, right? Because that's what they grew up watching, right?
Yeah.
And so we had those 2 5-5 seasons. We get it, right? But now we're back on track, and a 10-win season is expected, right? That's like the bare minimum,
Yeah.
right? And so I think we're set up to compete, as the slogan says on the for not just a region championship, but for a state championship.
Yeah. So let me ask you, uh, and I'm going to ask this to the audience as well. You guys can chime in if you're ready to. Okay. What are three things that jumped out Friday night? I mean, you don't have to think about them, whatever. There's three things that just jumped out.
All right. For me,
Yeah.
I always mentioned one time the team speed,
Okay.
the push that the offensive line got,
Yeah.
and then the fact that both of those quarterbacks were more than capable. Both of them seemed ready,
Yeah.
and even the JV in the ninth grade. If you hung around to watch it, you saw them come out with the same intensity that the varsity team, the varsity had, right? Um, and I get it that they're the younger guys, but they are the future, right? These freshmen that got a couple of series, and those sophomores that only got a couple of series next year,
Yeah.
and the year after that, they'll be taking the majority of the snaps. So when you got to see them, man, they look good. I think the young man's name, he was number 5, Sean White. I think that's his name. Um, Came out and he ended the night with about a 45-yard run,
Yeah.
and it was no one close to him, right? So we got stuff cooking in the kitchen, man, and that's what really stood out to me. So
Yeah. So I really didn't notice this kid, but I'm gonna look for him, and especially after what's Monica Adams replies to Jody Hewitt when Jody asks who's the next receiver behind KT. So she says, "Look out for this kid number 17, Ryan Tarver." So I didn't notice that Friday night, but there's a lot of players that I didn't notice,
Yeah,
but she's calling him out. So next Friday night, I'm going to look for him, and I hope she's right. I hope she's
yeah.
right.
And I got a correction. Thank you, Monica. It was Sean Wright, not White. That was
Okay.
number 5.
Yeah.
So yeah. But look, and even then, like the defense, the ninth grade defense,
Yeah.
there were they made plays. R.J. Williams came out there and made a couple quick plays. To start the game out, and you've got some players that's coming up, and you got those established players that just
Yeah.
picked up where they left off. Man, it seemed like to me the atmosphere was just like, okay, we finally get to get back to work. That's what it felt like, man. It was
That's right.
great being back in the palace.
That's right. I'm going to say something to Jerry. And Jerry, I hear what you're saying, and I get the what you tried to say when you said Bubba who, because we got some great talented receivers that are ready to step out on the stage. But let's kind of shy away from comments like that, right? Bubba was a fantastic player, contributed to the program. He left for various reasons. So let's just hold off on those types of comments. And I mean, we got a lot of kids to celebrate. We don't have to make
Mhm.
comments like that. So
It, it,
kind of hold
and
off on that.
And let me say this, guys. Listen, Bubba is my guy, was my guy. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be looking at Florida High to make just to check in on him. And listen, Bubba has the kind of talent that doesn't come around
that's right.
every so often. And I'm just grateful and thankful that I got to see it live and in person because
Absolutely.
he made highlight plays, catches that hit the national level, right? So listen, Bubba, who Bubba Brown. That's who.
That's right.
And he's got and listen, I'm gonna miss seeing number 8 out there. I really wish he was still here. Um because that'll give me I know for a fact I have more plays going viral and my TikTok and Twitter follows will spike because of Bubba. But I'm confident that one of these receivers and one of these players are gonna give me some more of those viral moments. So
That's right. That's right. Okay, so here's the three things that jumped out at me. One was uh, offensive identity.
yeah.
You know, and Carter alluded to that this week in his podcast. No, he didn't allude to it. He just flat out said it. The identity of this team is a running team that throws the ball when they want to throw it and not when they have to throw it.
Hmm.
It's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
So, offensive identity, defensive front, and pressure that these kids got, especially the young guys, right?
Hmm.
Um, you had Malik Martin was back
Oh yeah.
at linebacker this year. He got injured last year
Mhm.
early in the season. He was back this year. So defensive front pressure and the young kids looked ready for game one. Now, they didn't look ready for game 8, right?
Yeah.
But they looked ready for game 1. And I
Hmm.
was pleasantly surprised. Now, are they gonna get are they gonna give up big plays? Yeah, there's a lot of young kids out there still trying to learn positions, right? But I feel so much better about especially about our secondary.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised at how they were flying around and basically being ball hawks Friday night.
Oh yeah, and Izzy was hurt during the spring game. We got to see Treadwell back there, but Izzy was hurt during the spring game, and so I was kind of wondering, like, okay, how are they going to
Yeah.
adapt to playing not as close to the line of scrimmage
Right, right, right.
as they're used to? And man, like there was no missed assignments, no blown assignments, nobody running scot free. So man, they like it's, they exceeded my expectations, man. So.
Absolutely. Now, with that said, we're heaping a lot of praise on these kids. 2
Mhm.
things that Lowndes still needs to improve before Jenkins.
Special teams.
Yes.
Special teams.
Especially that kickoff coverage
Yeah,
team.
kickoff cover team. And I would say got to what's the word I'm looking for? got to get just a little bit more push, get to the second level, the offensive line,
Yeah.
right? And when I say that, I mean like being able to get to those linebackers and create bigger, bigger running lanes. But other than that, those are my two biggest things: special teams and get to the second level a little more effectively.
Absolutely. So two things that I think we still need to work on is we do have to throw more balls. You know,
Yeah,
the passes that we threw were effective, but we still got to get into the habit of throwing more balls.
yeah. I would probably say to caveat or the to lean into what you're saying, route combinations.
Hmm.
That's what I would say. Got to have some more than the bubble screen and the all go
Yeah.
right. Got to have some different route combinations. So,
Now, with that said, I'm sure they just ran a base number of plays
hmm
in a scrimmage. They didn't show their hand or complex routes or anything like that. But I think we do just in our game planning, and maybe it's coming. Maybe it's coming. I just didn't see it Friday night, and I would just love to see a more balanced attack, run versus pass.
yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. But like you said, Adam Carter said it best. We're a team that wants to run the ball and pass when we have to or when we want to, not when we want have to, but when we want to. And that right there is really just dictating the pace of the game.
That's right.
I'll be honest with you. I always say when it comes to offense, you want to be stay play beyond the sticks, right?
Yeah.
Play in front of the sticks. You don't never want to have to play behind the sticks. Like it's a different. You can come out with a game plan, but if your first play of the game you give up a sack, and now it's 2nd and 17 and not 2nd and 5, your game plan changes, right? That script changes that you had practice all week.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I can tell you one thing. I know we had a couple of games, and I'm even thinking back when Marvis was still here, where it was just like, oh, it's 35-0, and we've only thrown the ball once, right, right, because we just knocked out the big plays,
Yeah.
and who who knows what's going to be so.
That's right. So with that said, yeah, as a fan, I would love us to see us light up the sky, but I can see this year that you got to pass in a very strategic fashion because I heard Adam Carter basically say it right when he says things like, "I think the offense is going to have to lead us early on," right? You're gonna have to
Hmm.
use that offense to protect your defense as much as possible as well. So you can't be scoring in 3 plays and getting
Yeah.
your defense right back on the field. You gotta protect those guys as much as you can, not just from a fatigue standpoint, right? But from a coaching standpoint as well. So the longer they stay on the sideline, the more coaching they get on the sideline.
Hmm.
If they get right back into the game, that's less coaching.
Yeah.
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 So those are the couple things that I'm looking for. Now, all right. So I'm gonna ask you, Professor, to name 2 areas where your confidence increased after the scrimmage, and 1 area where your confidence decreased.
um well, increase was the pass defense.
Okay.
That increased for me, mainly because like I said, I'm not looking at um interceptions. And even though we did have, I think we had
Yeah.
three picks, but I'm looking at the assignments, right? I'm looking at how they're playing their receiver, and everybody was either in phase or look. I couldn't find. There was never a time when I said, "Uh oh, this guy was wide open. They gonna come back to that." Right? There was never. I never had that. So for me, that's the one that I'm impressed with the most, and or my confidence increased the most. Um, Decrease special teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was it right there.
Yeah. I've got very, very, very similar answers. The To me, the stock value increased on the secondary as a whole,
Mhm.
right? especially that linebacker core, man, because in this defensive scheme, you got to have some linebackers that one, they've got speed, two, they've got a good head on their shoulders, and three, they're more reading, reacting versus thinking.
Yeah,
And I saw all three of those things Friday night. Now, I will say this is one thing that um, Carter said about his defense. I mean, this is from Phil's interview with him this way. This is a quote. This is the first time since he's been here. This is what he's alluding to. He says, "This is the first time we're 250, 260, 250 across the board." So he's talking about the three down linemen,
hmm,
right?
yeah,
And that's pretty good size. When you got all three of them 250 or higher, it's pretty good size. He says, now he does say they don't look tall in stature,
yeah,
but they're beefy. Okay. So he says, this is the first time we're 250, 260, 250 across the board that can hang on a little bit. And then I've got three 200-pound linebackers that run and hit. So uh, our box in general, defensively, those kids will have to play well for us. So he likes the box.
yeah.
Okay. He says our secondary is where we took the biggest hit. We graduated 4 or 5 back there. And so trying to get caught up with the speed that we're going to see is one of the things that we've got to work on next couple of weeks. And that box, we're going to have to stop the run with less. That's the thing that I'm a little bit concerned about when he says stuff like that, right? So that means that what he's seeing in practice, we saw him perform well, but what he's seeing in practice, they're still not as fast as they need to be. That secondary with his defense, he relies on his secondary to support the run a lot.
Oh yeah, oh
Right.
yeah, and like when it comes to run support, as long as you got Izzy and Treadwell back there, who's just waiting to hit somebody to come downhill, I don't think that should be an issue. But at the same time, I totally understand where Coach Carter is coming from. Like
Yeah.
I really wish we could get invited to some of these practices and just sit there and just take notes.
Yeah.
But maybe in the future, who knows? But from what we saw Friday, right, and that's all we can react to is what we saw.
That's right.
Um, the defense looked good, and I will say this, and even when it comes to the secondary, and I understand, all of those guys signed scholarships, right?
Yeah.
The whole secondary that graduated signed scholarships, and they made a lot of plays last year. So I totally understand why he would be concerned
Yeah.
because you got to replace that talent that was there.
That's right. Exactly right. Hey, let me take a break here for about 30 seconds, guys. Bear with me because we got some sponsors this year that is helping us. Listen, they're helping us upgrade our camera equipment so you get super sharp, even sharper photos on Friday nights. Thinking, but that stuff is expensive. So we want to thank our sponsors. So bear with me. I want to thank our sponsors on the screen. So you got guys like Jason Casper at Case Tree Service. You know Jason and Emily Casper. They're great people. Jason owns a company called Case Tree Services. They did a great job of taking out a bunch of trees, damaged trees, diseased trees, whatever you needed him to take out, he will for you. So give him a call, 229-740-9626. How about if you're in pain or if you're suffering from migraines, Josh and Justin, you can't find better healthcare providers than these two guys in Valdosta. They specialize in relieving folks of migraines, especially. They're at the Migraine and Spine Clinic in Valdosta. That's Josh Batson and Justin Haskin, 229-333-9838. If you if you have the need for blinds and window coverings, our buddy Stickman himself, Tim Neesmith, owns a fantastic company called A Shade of Perfection. You can reach out to Tim. He's typically watching the show, but a little birdie told me that he and the bride went to see Motley Crue in concert. So I think they're probably at a concert tonight. So give Tim Neesmith a call. And listen, uh, Armand, I don't know, I can't remember how old you are, but I'm in my mid 50s now, and I've got retirement staring at me in the face. So I'm trying to get ready now. And this is my guy, Kyle Conger. He's got a couple of assistants, Christy Scoggins and Taylor Girdler. They do a fantastic job. They are at Corbin Wealth Management. You see the number right there on the screen. So give these fine sponsors a call if you need their services. All right.
You know, not I ain't too far behind you, man. Listen, at, at one day your favorite sales manager is gonna be like, you know what? I'm just sitting on the porch drinking my sweet tea, right? So,
That's right.
so yeah, I ain't too far behind you. And then we have when that happens, we'll have a whole lot more time to do this.
Yeah, I had a customer just yesterday. It's like we were talking about retirement. He says, "Larry, what are you going to do in retirement?" I said, "Whatever I want to do."
Oh man, that is. But you know what's crazy is that like I can remember like before I took my job, I had
Yeah,
about a 2 week break. Right, week one was fine.
yeah,
Right, week two. Oh man, my wife said, "How many times you gonna cut the grass?" I mean, you know,
that's right.
I was just trying to find something to do and to keep me from spending my money because I just go to the Home Depot. Let me go to the to my local Winn Dixie down the street, go buy something, try to cook something.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
All right. So, listen, next Thursday night we're going to do a full breakdown on the first opponent of the year, the team from Jenkins. I think they're from the Savannah area. Right. So, but we're going to give you a sneak preview tonight. It's not going to be a complete breakdown, but so let's start an early preview. Okay. What does Lowndes need to establish immediately in that game?
the run.
Okay.
You establish the run. Establishing the run means that you have like your stake your claim at the line of scrimmage is mine.
That's right.
And so when you're able to do that, then you're able to dictate what you want to do.
Hmm.
You're not necessarily reacting. So initially, yes, establish the run.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put this schedule up there. Man, what is up with your screen, man?
With mine,
Why is your image so much smaller?
I don't
Oh,
know.
because you're doing the portrait deal
Yeah.
with your camera. Okay, so you see the schedule. We just did the veterans preseason scrimmage. We had to cancel to meet the Vikings. Jenkins is the first game out of the block. Then Harris County, Lithonia, Blanche, Eli, Long County, Winter Haven. Let's be honest, it's not a robust non-region schedule, but Jenkins is kind of sneaky good.
Hmm.
Not many people realize this, but out of all the teams that we played last year, Jenkins was one of the teams that scored the most on us.
Yeah.
So they got a very, very talented offense, which is not a good combination with a young defense that we've got. I don't expect us to have problems with it, but if we're not careful, this is a team um, that could challenge us into the second half. Would you agree
It,
with that assessment?
I will. Jenkins is feisty, man. They I think they took us out of our game, right? Because they were constantly up in our players' faces, and our players they were reacting to it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so it kind of emotions ran high that game. You know,
That's right.
you would expect it to be an old region foe,
Yeah.
you know, that we play. But you know, I think that Jenkins can be sneaky good, and if you let them stick around, they'll
Right.
make you. They will make you pay. So, you know, and hold on, Georgia Trainer said Jenkins QB is at Colquitt now. They'll
That
be
is true.
breaking. Yep, they'll be breaking in a new QB. I did not know that.
Yeah, that is true.
I,
Yeah, so that quarterback gave us fits last year, and he's at Colquitt this year.
yeah. Well, I did not know that. Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, what would constitute a successful opening night beyond just simply winning?
Lounge by 50.
Oh, I love it.
Lounge by 50. Like we really have to come out there and make a statement. Yeah, this is I get it. It's week one. We just really want to go 1-0, get out of there. Uh, you know, safe and sound, no injuries. But you have to make a statement week one.
That's right.
You have to make a statement week one, and put everybody on notice. You know that hey,
Yeah.
we ain't went nowhere.
This is one of those games. I don't call it a trap game, but this is one of those games where everybody in the world, in the football world, expects you to win, not just win, but win comfortably, right?
Hmm.
And so there's no upside as far as people giving you kudos because you're supposed to win this. But if you struggle, if you let this team hang around, you give them some shots, that kind of stuff, then the criticism starts to be heaped on your team. So what I'm looking for is Lyles not just to win, but to win big, to get out of the gates fast and completely dominate this game from snap one.
Yeah.
I think that's what would make this game successful. Not just merely winning, but we got if we're going to make the statement that Lowndes is back, then let's show it on the field that we're back from the opening snap all the way to the final whistle and finish the drill.
Yeah, discipline. Discipline is what I think that we lacked at times last year.
Yeah.
And I think that this year, if we're going to grow, take the next step, discipline has to be a priority. And I'm pretty sure that's something that the coaches have preached. They preach day in, day out. But I'm echoing the sentiment. They have to stay disciplined. If they stay disciplined, stay calm and cool. Because even Jody says, we've got to be a lot more calm and cooler than last year's game against them. I know, and you're 100% right, Jody. Uh, they have to stay disciplined. If they can stay disciplined, they stay locked in, and we'll dominate from start to finish. Not saying that Jenkins is not going to put up any resistance because they got pride too. I promise you, they are not driving down 3.5, 4 hours on the bus just to say, well, we scored on them. No, that's not what they're doing. They're coming down to Concrete Palace to win. I don't think they will, but that's what they're coming down here to do.
Yeah. So Robert Lindsay says, Professor, I'm going to see your 50 and I'm going to raise you Lowndes by 60.
But he can have it because I've already trademarked Lounge by 50. So, and if that happens, listen, Robert, I'm not going to be disappointed
Absolutely,
if
man.
it's Lounge by 60, but
That's right.
Lounge by 50, that's what it's going to be.
So I did something. I did something creative for you guys. Last week we talked about the Maxwell ratings that came out and what would it, how would that affect the postseason ranking this year. So I actually put it in graphical form in the form of a bracket, so you guys could have a visual to see how this thing would actually play itself out. Check this out. This is kind of cool. And this is based on Lauren Maxwell's ratings and how he projects the season to go. Check this out. Can you see that?
Barely, not really. No, I can't. I'm not lying. I can't see it. I didn't bring my glasses.
I got you. Yeah, you're probably looking at it on a small screen.
Yeah.
So what you got is basically a typical playoff bracket. I hope you guys can see this. And so you see, you see who it's predicting as the two teams playing for the championship at the end of the season. I don't know if you see that or not, but they're predicting Buford and Carrollton at the very top, and in the final four, they're predicting Colquitt County against Carrollton and Grayson versus Buford. Now, I don't know how confident Lauren Maxwell is in this projection, especially after Grayson lost last night. So maybe they'll take that as a wake up call, you know. But look at where Lowndes is at right here, based on the projections. Lowndes would be in the lower right quadrant. Okay, so this would be the Lowndes path. And currently, the way he's got us projected is he's got us seated going into the playoffs as number 7 seed. So that means that if everything played out the way that he would play it out, you see, Lowndes would host Lambert in the first round. Presumably, we would win that game. And then Lowndes would host McEachern in the second round. Now, Maxwell's projecting that we win that game too. And then Lowndes takes on Carrollton in the quarterfinal, but we would have to travel up to Carrollton. And he's saying Carrollton would win that game. So it's interesting to see how now it's going to be really, really cool to if Lowndes goes not just 8-2 like he's projecting here, but if we go 9-1, 10-0, then instead of a 7 seeding, then we're probably a 2 or 3 seeding, and then we would be hosting a team like Carrollton instead of us having to travel up there. Okay, and I wonder how differently that plays itself out. But you see that. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, I can see how that. Listen, anytime you have to travel up north,
Yeah,
right? It's a strain. it is a strain on your team that travel.
Mm.
We don't play a lot of away games, and that might be um, a detriment to us. But at the same time, we get to play in the friendly confines of the
Yeah.
concrete palace. And so when you have those long games, those long travels, even for us, we're not even playing in the game. But but we made that trip to North Gwinnett,
Yeah.
and man, when I got there, I was kind of exhausted already, and that's just one of those things where it's just like, if you could play them at home, play them at home, but having to go to Carrollton and play, that's tough. And if it was to play out that way, I understand why those predictions are like they are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we take care of business, right, we go 1-0 every week.
Okay, so Walter Thomas is correcting Georgia Trainer and me. We may have misspoke. I have to check into this. So there's a disagreement on there. He's saying that the Jenkins quarterback graduated last year, and it's the Mount Zion Jonesboro quarterback that's at Colquitt. And I think he's right. I think he's actually right there.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But either way, Jenkins is breaking in a new quarterback.
That's exactly right. Alan
Right.
Lott has it exactly right. One game at a time. He said, "LG, you're spending a lot of time on this projection stuff, playoff stuff. Let's just do it one game at a time." And he's probably got the right mentality there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was thinking, and I think we're at victory. We won about 475 games in the history of Lounge High
Yeah.
since 1968. Um, so we got some. If everything plays out, in a couple of years, we got some milestones our program is gonna reach. I know we were talking about the history, as far as getting laying that foundation, right? Um, this team can. I think we have all the ingredients to really be there, to be those last two teams standing at the end of the season.
So is that? I was going to ask you this question to close out the show, but I think you just answered it for me. I was going to ask you to give your boldest prediction for this team for 2026.
Oh, that wasn't my boldest pick.
Okay. Well, lay it on me. What's your bold prediction for this team?
15-0 state championship.
Oh, oh, I don't think I'm ready to go that far yet. I need a. I'm not saying we can't do it. I just need more evidence first.
And to throw a little icing on the cake, Lions by 50 every game.
Here's my bold prediction for this year,
Okay.
and I know this is going to hit some type of bulletin board reel with these two teams. Lowndes beats both Valdosta and Colquitt this year.
And
That's
I'm
my
okay with
bold
that.
prediction.
And I'm okay with that prediction because I expect us to beat Valdosta and Colquitt, right? And listen, guys, listen. I know you're saying, oh, he said it. He said the V word. He said Valdosta. Yeah, because the season hasn't started. But guess what? Come next week, next Thursday,
Yeah,
this will be the last time that you hear me use Valdosta. It'll be that team that used to be on
on
Forest
Forest Street.
Street. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be from here on out, man. But and I know some people listen to he just hating. Listen, I got a nephew
Yeah.
who plays for Valdosta High, and I tell him I'm gonna root for him every game except for one. I want him to do great, but that's just how it is, man. Like the juices are starting to turn, and yeah, I can't wait.
I do. I will say this. They have started doing something over the last couple of years that I really, really like. I
Hmm.
really like it because it promotes a sense of community. And every preseason, teams usually just have their base colors on their helmets. They don't have their
Yeah,
stickers on or anything like that. So on the eve of the season, the last couple of years, they go out of their way to invite the dads, the uncles, the brothers of players, former players back, and they have basically I don't know what they call it, paws and claws night or something like that,
yeah,
where they make it a big deal putting those stickers on the helmets. I wish Lowndes would do that.
yeah. I mean,
That
but
would be a big, big deal for community rally cry, if you will.
yeah, but like what about us, and this is something that I've always acknowledged is the history and tradition
Yeah,
that they have. You know, no matter who's the coach, it's been the history and tradition. They don't shy away from it. They embrace it,
that's right.
right? And that those are hills that they are gladly and willingly and will willingly down. Is the tradition of the Valdosta High Wildcats
Yeah,
and what they do. I agree with you. Like I could imagine if, hey, my dad was there helping me put my sticker
yeah.
and the stripes going down my helmet.
Can
That
you
sounds
imagine
amazing.
Greg? Can you imagine a night where Greg Reed, Telvin Smith, Kahari Franklin, uh, and all these fantastic players, even players like not Steve Parker, Stark Parker, but oh,
The player,
Carl Parker.
Carl
Carl
Parker, yeah,
Parker went on to the NFL. Um, all these former players come back for a special night of call it Shield Night, Shield and Swords
yeah,
Night, or something like that. That would be an awesome, awesome thing for Lowndes to start doing, I think.
that would be amazing. That would be. And I know for a fact because I stay in touch with a lot of the alumni. Um, and they would love to come back and do something like that.
Yeah.
You know, they're like they'll probably say when. You know, some of them be like, "Oh man, I can't make it," yeah, and they'd be mad that they couldn't make it. You know, but that would be that's something for the ages. You know, I still can remember when Randall Godfrey would come back. You know, I still remember when Edward Mack graduated, he came back. You know, all these players would come back. Um, Jeffrey Thomas would come back, just you know, and all they're doing is just standing on the sidelines and
Yeah.
just seeing them. Man, that's an amazing feeling. Uh,
Yeah. I think I'm just speaking from my heart here. Nothing about Lounge specific. I'm talking about football, that is, or X's and O's. I think since McPherson and Dubose left, I think Dubose was getting there, but he just left too soon.
yeah,
Um, there's been a division within Viking Nation. I think everybody sees that and recognizes it, right? I
yeah,
think we got to get to the part where we start to come back together and unite as a fan base,
yeah,
and something like that could go a long way to help heal all the rifts, bring people together, win or lose. We're the Viking Nation, right?
yeah,
And we're better together than we are divided. So
yeah.
that's my request.
And you know, like you said, they got a night already to meet the Vikings,
Yeah,
right? And that would like if you could turn that moment into something really big, you know, and turn it into a legacy, you know, something that man, I can't wait to walk the, I don't know, walk the aisle. I don't know how you do it, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Let me put some thought into that. I think we could do something really, really special.
oh yeah,
All right, so listen, guys, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We don't have a game tomorrow night. Rest up because next week it's on for sure.
it is on, and also, but I think Valwood, as long as weather permits, because it's been predicted thunderstorms and whatnot. Valwood, I think they got a game. They got a game tomorrow night. So
Against a very, very bitter arch rival in Deerfield, Windsor. That's what
yeah,
listen, our buddy Chase Garnto has been talking up that game all week long behind the scenes to us.
yeah. Like I plan on going, but let me tell you something. If it's raining, I'm probably not going.
Yeah,
If it's raining, right? But if it's not raining, I'm gonna take that right and go support Chase and Smash out there and just go see Coach Norwood and a couple of other players who went on the Valwood. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So with that said, guys, God bless all of you, every single one of you, even those Wildcats that are watching tonight. God bless you guys. And as always, go Vikings.
go Vikings.